Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In 1 Kings chapter 3, the Lord comes to Solomon in a dream, and he says, "Ask what you wish me to give you." And Solomon asks for wisdom, and he's very wise in asking for wisdom because this very much pleases the Lord. It says that in verse 11, it says, "It was pleasing in the sight of the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing." And then it goes on to say that God said to him, "Because you have asked this thing, and have not asked for yourself long life, nor have asked riches for yourself, nor have you asked for the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself discernment to understand justice, behold, I have done according to your words. Behold, I have given you a wise and discerning heart, so that there has been no one like you before you, nor shall one like you arise after you. I have also given you what you have not asked, both riches and honor, so that there will not be any among the kings like you all your days. If you walk in my ways, keeping my statutes and commandments, as your father David walked, then I will prolong your days." And so here, because Solomon made wisdom a priority, everything else was going to fall into place for him. Because he chose wisdom, God was pleased with that choice and pretty much guaranteed him riches, also honor, probably in connection to his enemies, giving him a peaceful life and respect among the other nations, and then prolonging his days, and that sort of thing. So when he asked for wisdom, he was also guaranteed the other things, but he made wisdom his priority. And it's interesting in life, that's typically how it works out. When we make wisdom a priority, it tends to funnel out into these other things. As a person lives a wise life and puts wisdom above everything else, they tend to live a longer life. At least the probability of them living a longer life increases. It doesn't guarantee that they'll live a long life. There's a lot of things out of our control, like our environment, other people, our own genetics, things like that. There's things that might work against that. But generally speaking, all things being equal, when we walk according to wisdom, typically we're going to live a longer life. Why? Because we're making wiser choices about what we eat and how much we eat, what we're putting into our bodies. We're using wisdom and discernment on what we allow our bodies to come into contact with. We're using wisdom in what type of situations and circumstances we get ourselves into, not getting ourselves into dangerous predicaments in which our life is unnecessarily put at risk. As a person walks in wisdom and is careful about their steps and walk in discernment, it increases their chances of prolonging their life. And then also, making wisdom a priority also sets a person up for a better financial situation. Go to the book of Proverbs, which is written, much of it's written by Solomon. You can go in there and find a lot of financial advice in the book of Proverbs. And it's all connected to wisdom. Being wise, in other words, not being slothful, but working hard, not chasing after every get-rich-quick scheme, but diligently working day after day after day, and being wise in the way that one is spending their money, saving their money in an appropriate way, being generous with their money. These are all things that a person does when they're walking according to wisdom, and when they do so, they're a lot better off than they would have been had they been unwise and just didn't work, and the little money that they did have, they just spent it frivolously. You can see the difference in the situation there. Wisdom will help a person at least a little bit be financially better off. Again, doesn't guarantee it. There's a lot of variables in life, but it at least makes it more probable in a person's situation. And then also in connection to the enemies. Here he says that he would give him honor. As mentioned, that might be in connection to the other kings, where they would honor him instead of fight against him, and it would lead to a peaceful kingdom. And the same thing is true when we're walking by wisdom. One, we're more probable to have less enemies because we're being careful about the words that we speak. We're careful about the way that we interact with people. We're self-aware in the way that we engage in relationships. And walking according to wisdom will decrease the amount of enemies that we have in a lot of cases. But even if we have enemies, even if, despite the fact that we are walking in wisdom, people rise up against us, maybe out of jealousy or whatever else it might be, then we know how to navigate those difficult relationships as we use wisdom. As once again, we're careful with our words, and as we respond to the individual in a wise way, it can also oftentimes quiet the other person from wanting to attack us as much, and it can really calm down the situation because we're acting in a wise way. Doesn't always guarantee it. Some of the most wise people oftentimes fell at the hands of vengeful, jealous people. Again, a lot of variables in life, but it does increase the probability of a person having less enemies, and then also being able to interact with the enemies that they do have in a much better way. So it's just interesting the way that life is. When we make wisdom a priority, it tends to spread out into other branches of our lives, and especially in these three different ways. And we see that being connected here for us in 1 Kings chapter 3 with the blessings that God gave Solomon because he made wisdom a priority. And so what this should do is motivate us to want to live according to wisdom. Be very careful about the decisions that we make. Use discernment. Walk circumspectly in this life, and just kind of being careful about the things that we do, the things that we get ourselves into, and just live in a wise way. And in doing so, there will be blessings that are attached to that will make it all the more a blessing to walk according to wisdom. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.